Seaweed here with a new video type I'm making where I read some of the writings I've made. The year is 2021. I'm still alive. It's been 9 years since the disaster. Zombie apocalypse. I live on a military base in a bunker. I live alone. I was forced to blow the food warehouse about 6 years in when they found me. Since then, I have survived by scavenging canned food from houses. But one day, everything changed. I'd run out of canned food the night before. I had a routine now. I had some close calls before, but nothing like what was about to happen. I was armed with a minigun, a Scar H assault rifle with grenader attachment, a Glock 45 caliber pistol, a mini Uzi, grenades, a double-barrel sawed-off shotgun, and a machete. You may be thinking I shouldn't be able to carry all this, and you're right, I shouldn't. But I have a genetic disorder that makes my muscles bigger, so I can carry it all, but it's hard to carry that much. I drove my tank a few blocks into town and saw no zombies, which was extremely weird. But I made nothing of it because I had killed so many the week before. I thought they were regrouping or something. Got out of the tank and absentmindedly left it open. I was in a house going through it for food when I heard an explosion. I raced to the window and saw smoke rising from my tank. I reached down and felt my belt. One grenade missing. It fell off in the tank. A zombie must have pulled the pin when it crawled in to search the tank. A nerve-wracking moan pierced the air. I backed into a corner, minigun at the ready. A few minutes, nothing. Just as I started to relax, a hand broke through the wall behind me, backed up and opened fire on the wall. It looked good for me until the two doors leading in the room broke down and zombies started to swarm in. Zombies made a big hole enough to crawl through the wall and were coming from all directions. Threw a grenade through the hole in the wall and started dropping zombies from the other direction. Soon I ran out of ammo with my minigun. So I held onto his handle, spun around twice as fast, and threw it at the zombies, knocking one of their heads clean off. I jumped out a window and tucked and rolled, pulling the Scar H off my back and ran across the street. There are three kinds of zombies. Slow zombies, or crawlers as I call them, because they move as slow as they crawl. Fast zombies, or runners. They move in a sprint. And super zombies, or alpha zombies. They have super strength and speed. It's a good thing all the zombies in that house were crawlers. Reached the front door of the next house just as the undead reached the hole in the wall. Fired a grenade or shot and took a bunch of them out. Then I went into the house and searched frantically for anything else I could use as a weapon. Found some Bud Light, a gallon of gasoline, some clothes. I emptied out the Bud Light because it doesn't burn for the purpose I need it. I poured gasoline into the bottles and put some cloth in the tops to make Molotov cocktails, and then tied them to my belt. I poured the rest of the gasoline in the front of the house and waited for the zombies to come. When they did, I let them swarm in, and I threw a Molotov in front of the house and exploded into flames. I ran out the back door, jumped the fence, and ran toward a castle-like house. I could tell that the house was used to be a base for survivors by the barbed wire in the front yard. I went through the broken front door and onto the balcony where I waited once more for the zombies. This time runners came through the door because the ones that tried to come through the yard were tangled in the barbed wire. I opened up with the Scar H, but soon ran out of ammo with that too. threw it at them, pulled out the mini Uzi and the Glock, but unfortunately, my incambable of weapons ran out, so I tossed another Molotov. Round, but found only a dead end. A room with only one door and a window on the second story. Took the sawed-off shotgun and prepared for my last stand. Soon my shotgun was out too. Threw another Molotov and jumped out the window. I tucked and rolled, scrambled to my feet and tried to run, but I got tangled in the barbed wire. Rolled over to see what was behind me and wish I hadn't. Zombies were only a few feet from me. Closed my eyes, prepared for the worst, but instead of feeling my flesh tear off, I felt a blast of heat and opened my eyes and saw a blast of fire flying over me, scorching the zombies. Turned to see a big man with a flamethrower blasting the zombies. Then he helped untangle me from the barbed wire quickly and rushed me to a military armored transport. Inside, more people. I hadn't seen people for 9 years. He handed me an AA-12, type of automatic shotgun with a barrel drum, and a few extra drums. "We saw the fire and were sent to check it out," one man said. "Who sent you?" I replied. "There's a safe zone about 5 miles from here," he answered. Then the transport was hit from the side by something and went tumbling and hit a building. We crawled out and saw an Alpha and looked around and saw nothing. Crawled out, shot an Alpha, looked around and saw nothing. Then the sergeant started barking orders when a runner jumped out of the window of a building, landing on him, biting his neck. As soon as we got over the shock, someone shot it. Then they came jumping out of buildings, crawling out of manholes, coming from all sides. We formed a circle on the side of the flipped transport, and after a few minutes, hundreds of corpses lined the streets. Then they just stopped. Then the soldiers started freaking out about the sergeant's death. "Hey!" I yelled. "You're all trained soldiers and you're acting like scared children. You can either stay here wetting ourselves, waiting for the walking corpses to kill us, or you can man up and go to the safe zone on foot. Our chances aren't good, but if we're gonna die, let's be sure to give them hell before we do it." With that, we all cheered and left. After 90 feet, we were attacked again with the same formation in the circle as they swarmed from all sides. This time, we didn't notice a manhole in the circle until it was too late. Rotting hand pulled a man down. We threw a grenade in the manhole. This horde was smaller, and we finished them off quickly. For the next 3 miles, we sprinted. Sprinted as much as we could, and then we fast walked. Didn't see any more zombies on the way back, which was disturbing. We finally made it. Helicopters patrolled the air and jeeps patrolled the ground. We went into a Walmart shopping center that must have been their headquarters. In the manager's office told the leader what happened. In the middle of the story, alarms went off. We raced out to see the safe zone swarmed with the undead. They swarmed us by the thousands like a wave of locusts. Shells from the helicopters fell like a metallic rain. One Alpha jumped off a roof onto the helicopter and it went down. The Alpha jumped off the falling helicopter and landed near me. Then he grabbed the guy next to me and ripped him in half. I raised my gun, but he knocked it away. He grabbed at me, but I grabbed at my knife quicker. He picked up my gun next to his severed head. The smell of smoke, blood, and burning flesh filled the air as a gas station detonated. Explosives and gunfire filled the air. I yelled for more people to get on the transports, but a few stayed to hold them back. I was manning a gun on the last transport, laying down heavy fire at the zombies. More helicopters fell in the distance, but soon a group of Alphas were catching up. I shot some, but the gun ran out of ammo. Pulled out my AA-12, fired a few rounds, then it jammed. Drew my knife and beheaded the first one that jumped at me. The second one jumped, but I cut it in half. The third one pounced on me, pinning me down. My knife skidded off the transport. Just as it was about to bite my neck, its head exploded, and I looked up and saw a gunner in the transport ahead of us with a sniper rifle. We went to the base where I used to live. Well, I still lived. and used the radios to get in contact with other safe zones. We set up air trade routes, and humans started to thrive once more, not as countries, but as one united race. That was the first Seaweed Reads. Hope you liked it. Please comment and like and subscribe and all that stuff.